It's Game of the Year time. Hi guys, welcome to PMyth Gaming. 2019 is coming to an end, so I reckon it's high time I run through my top 11 games of the year. I was going to do 10, but I couldn't decide which one to cut. I should point out before we begin that I haven't played everything this year. I should be diving into Pokemon over Christmas. I've never really been a big fan of Fire Emblem, sorry. And I'm well aware that there's a whole host of awesome looking indie games that I've yet to dive into. So this is more of like my own personal favourite games that I've played on Switch this year. So disclaimers out of the way, let's get rolling. In at number 11 is Tetris 99. Nintendo released this freebie game back in February for subscribers to Switch Online. With the Battle Royale genre taking the world by storm, it was only a matter of time before Nintendo joined the party. There was a fair few fans who were hoping for a Splatoon Battle Royale mode, but instead we got Tetris, and it's awesome. 98 players and you, spinning blocks and sending junk to try and kill your opponents. The ability to switch targets between those close to being knocked out, those attacking you, or those taking the lead adds a brilliant level of strategy to the traditional puzzler. I may not have quite hit the top spot yet, but it's an incredibly addictive game, and the different themes and additions that Nintendo have introduced throughout the year have expanded a great little game into an incredibly robust experience. Plus, it's always nice for a solid reason to invest in Nintendo's otherwise lacklustre online service. In at number 10 is SteamWorld Quest. Image Inform's stellar work in the SteamWorld series continued with the release of the card-based RPG SteamWorld Quest in April. The SteamWorld games have previously covered tower defense, Metroidvania and turn-based strategy, and this newest RPG was full of the characteristic charm and rock-solid gameplay that has come to encapsulate the series. It's so impressive how Image Inform have managed to turn their hand to multiple genres and come up trumps every time, and SteamWorld Quest is a brilliant continuation of that tradition. I was a little wary going in, card-based RPGs aren't traditionally my cup of tea, but it's so well executed here, perfectly balancing depth and accessibility, that I was totally hooked pretty much from the get-go. That trademark Image and Form humour certainly helped as well. In at 9 is Yoshi's Crafted World. The last couple of Yoshi games have actually been really good, even if they haven't quite hit the heights of the classic Yoshi's Island. Still, Good Feel have managed to create some solid platformers in both Yoshi's Woolly and Crafted World, and I really enjoyed my time with the latter. True, it wasn't exactly the hardest game on the planet, but it was chock full of clever concepts and puzzles. Hitting 100% offered the little extra challenge too, and the post-game stages were thoroughly old school in their difficulty. I always loved me some Yoshi, and Crafted World was another solid entry into the Dino's library. At number 8 is Wargroove. I haven't actually finished Wargroove yet, but I'm determined to dive back into it over the Christmas period because it absolutely scratches that strategy itch that Nintendo have left thoroughly unscratched for so long. The characters are all entertaining, the variety of units on offer make for some incredibly challenging matchups, and the presentation is wonderful. Perhaps most impressive though is the sheer amount of content Chucklefish have included, as well as free post-game DLC. But the level editor, cutscene editor and wealth of multiplayer and customization options means this one should have a long life cycle for hardcore fans. Nintendo have been focusing on Fire Emblem in recent years and neglecting Advance Wars in the process. But if, like me, you've never really gotten into Fire Emblem and you want a classic Nintendo strategy game, I would thoroughly recommend you check out Wargroove. Number 7 goes to The Tourist. A more recent one this one, but a game I just thoroughly enjoyed playing through. It's not overly challenging, and I as good as 100%ed it in around 6 hours. But the little islands you have to explore all felt like tiny realised little worlds full of holidaymakers and inhabitants that really made the game world come alive. It's also arguably the most beautiful game on this list. I don't really have much else to say about this other than just go and play it. It's a fun little game and is a great one to just sort of kick back and relax with for a few hours. Another Good Feel title at number 6 in Monkey Barrels. This is the first self-published title from the devs behind Yoshi's Crafted World and Kirby's Epic Yarn, amongst others, and for a maiden outing, they absolutely nailed it. A top-down dual-stick shooter with leather jacket-wearing apes blasting the crap out of robotic fridges in a post-apocalyptic Japan. Hilariously ridiculous premise that's absolutely jam-packed with a bunch of different weapons and fiendishly difficult boss fights. I absolutely loved my time with this one. And like I say, it's got a monkey with a mohawk, how could you not? Number 5 is Link's Awakening. I've kind of surprised myself with this one because usually a new Zelda game would be a safe bet to top any Game of the Year list. But here we are with Link's Awakening just about sneaking into the top 5. To be fair, it isn't exactly on a par with your Breath of the Wilds and your Wind Wakers in terms of scope. but with its fresh coat of paint, it's arguably now the most charming game in the series. All the whimsical characters are great, I do love the art style, and I really enjoyed playing through a Zelda game that wasn't handholdy in the slightest. It was the first time in a while I've actually had moments where I didn't quite know where to go or what to do in a Zelda game, but I nevertheless enjoyed just wandering around chatting to people and slowly revealing where it was I was supposed to be headed. In at 4, Super Mario Maker 2. I feel like this game took everything that was great about the first one and built upon it. We had new tools and tiles, new art styles, and new modes of discovery that made playing through some of the fantastic levels the community created an absolute joy. We also ran a weekly Mario Maker Monday event over on the NintendoVillage.com, where you guys sent us your stages to play, and frankly, they were all awesome. I had so much fun playing through them each week, and it probably made me stick with the game longer than I might otherwise have done. So, thanks very much to you guys for contributing a little bit to what has been a great gaming year for me. In fact, I may revive Mario Maker Mondays in the new year. Number 3 goes to Astral Chain. Confession, I had absolutely no interest in this game when it was first revealed back at E3 2018. But when it cropped up in subsequent directs, I slowly got more and more interested until the hype got me and I ended up pre-ordering a few days before launch. I did not regret it. The combat is fantastic and obviously the main draw, but I found myself properly gripped by the story too, despite not really being an anime kind of guy, and the world Platinum created was genuinely fascinating to me. It's a damn stylish game as well. I surprised myself a little with this one, because despite a few attempts to, I never really got into the Bayonetta games, but something about Astral Chain just really hooked me in. If you skip this one, I'd really recommend you go and check it out. And it's made me want to go back and give Bayonetta another whirl too. Taking second place is Ori and the Blind Forest. Okay, so I know this is quite an old game generally speaking, but it released on Switch this year, so I'm counting it. I adored this game. I can usually be a little hit and miss with Metroidvanias. Hollow Knight, for example, was a game I enjoyed, but it felt like a real slog at times. But Ori, on the other hand, was perfectly paced with new abilities and upgrades coming at regular enough intervals to always push you onwards to see which new areas you could now explore. The world you inhabit is absolutely stunning too, and it's one of the most fluid controlling games I think I've played in a long time. There's a demo available on the eShop, so I'd highly recommend you give that a try. That's what I did, and as soon as I got to the end of it, I immediately bought the full game. It's just fantastic. Oh, and if you've got Game Pass and you've not played this game, then you've got no excuse. Go and check it out. It's on there. And finally, my game of the year is Luigi's Mansion 3. I honestly can't remember a Nintendo game with this much charm, polish and personality. I'd even say it outperforms Super Mario Odyssey, and Charles Martinet has done some of his best work in this game. All of Luigi's little phrases and noises are delivered beautifully and, combined with the stellar animations, make the lanky green Mario brother easily the most rounded and 3D character in the entire Mushroom Kingdom. The game itself introduces new ideas on every single floor, and I was thoroughly impressed at how well Luigi was implemented. Honestly, I thought he was going to be a bit gimmicky at first, but the way you use Luigi's doppelganger to fight enemies and solve puzzles never ceases to be brilliant fun. To be honest, this wasn't even close. Luigi is far and away my favourite thing I've played this year, and I'm so glad it lived up to the expectations. The first game is one of my favourites back on the GameCube, and so I can't tell you how pleased I am that this lived up to the hype. Side note, if you want to know what my favourite non-Switch game was this year, it was COD Modern Warfare. I thought the campaign was absolutely fantastic and the multiplayer was a brilliant return to form, even if I do suck at it. So, those are my favourite Switch games this year, but let me know which ones you love down in the comments as well. Or your non-Switch games, happy to hear about them as well. Thanks very much for watching everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. This show goes out every Friday, but I'm going to take a break next week over Christmas. I hope you can forgive me whilst I'm stuffing my face full of mince pies and cheese, and I shall be back in the new year. In the meantime, there's loads of other videos you can check out, such as this one. And if you like that, be sure to subscribe too, so you never miss another episode. There's tons of cool stuff here on the Nintendo Village, and be sure to check out the NintendoVillage.com for news, reviews, features, podcasts, and all that cool stuff. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you all next year.